Looks like the road ends here. This village is supposed to be the last settlement. Other than that, there's nothing but thick jungle in every direction. The commander of the local troops led me this far. But now I need to quiz a local about the temple. I have no idea where it is. Hello? Hello? Jesus, where is everyone? Looks like this place was abandoned pretty recently. Hello? Is anybody there?
The Nazis can't have been here already. Can they? Damn it. I'll have to find the temple on my own. There are some reeds lying here. Looks like the villagers use them to thatch their huts. I've already got some. I can come back for more later. I need to stay here and look for the key artifact. It's a tree. It's a big tree. There are leaves on it? I don't know. I loved climbing trees when I was a boy. The taller, the better. Nowadays, I tend to only do it when I have to. Like when I'm being chased. Or when I'm bored. There are some chopped logs lying in the fireplace. Not much going on. A bamboo pole. Why is it every time I see one of these things, I feel like something ridiculous is about to happen? I'll take that cloth with me too. Feathers, blood. It's clear what happened here. Some huge winged monster had a nosebleed. Or a chicken got eaten. One of the two. It's dried up in the heat. Chicken feathers. A man can never have enough feathers. A few shards of pottery. There's a broken jug lying here. This basket's seen better days. What is that? It's a small goat. It appears to be hiding underneath the hut. Well, no, it's definitely hiding underneath the hut. I can see it from here. All this military training, and now I realise I never learned how to coax a goat out of hiding.
Bah! Bah!
Damn, it's gone further underneath the hut. An empty, tattered basket. Oh no, I stand corrected. There are some stones in here. Fantastic. 2 smooth, sparkling stones. They look rather valuable. The jug's broken, but I could still use it as a container. A few sharp-edged pottery shards. I'm sure the chicken that shed these feathers
is in a better place now. An old tattered cloth. A hollow bamboo pole. Are these things just following me around? A bundle of dry reeds.
I'll just take a short wander into the jungle. Maybe the villagers are out foraging or whatever it is villagers do.
Hey, you there! Where do you think you are going?
Christ! You frightened the life out of me! What the hell are you doing hiding in there?
Get away from the edge of the jungle. Come here!
What's wrong?
Don't ask, just do what I say.
Have I done something wrong? Sorry, I didn't mean to sneak around. I just wasn't sure where everyone had got to.
There's a man-eater about.
A what?
Doesn't anything strike you as strange around here?
Well, yes.
He came into the village last night while we were sleeping.
Who?
The man-eater. Listen to me. The beast is still out there. I can feel it in my bones.
And you're the only survivor?
No, during these months, only women, children and old people live in the village. The young men work on the tea plantations. When he came, there was no one here to protect us. Those who could walk packed their things and left this morning.
What sort of animal are we talking about here? I'm, something of an expert.
A tiger, what else?
A tiger?
It was no normal tiger, it was a man-eater. Tigers normally avoid settlements. They hunt in the jungle. But now and again, a few of the particularly hungry ones stray into the villages. I remember the old stories from my childhood. When a man-eater has picked out a village, he stalks it for days until he can strike again.
When you put it like that, it does sound kind of scary. But I have a very important task, and I'm looking for someone who can help me.
What brings you here, stranger?
I'm looking for an old monastery, or a temple. Do you know anywhere around here that fits the description?
As a matter of fact, there is an old temple nearby.
Great. How do I get there? Could you show me?
You may have no instinct for survival, stranger, but I wish to retain what is left of my life. I cannot leave the village until the man-eater is dealt with.
Okay, tell you what. I'll have a look around and think of something. If I deal with the tiger, will you lead me to the temple?
Take my word for it, stranger.
Great. It's a deal.
Be careful out there.
There's thick jungle in every direction, save for a small trail leading southwest. No idea where this path leads, but if I stay on it, at least I won't get lost. Probably. I'll follow the path leading out of the village so I don't get lost. Let's see where it leads to. What is that sound? Christ, there really is a tiger out there. I never knew they sounded like that. Thinking about it, I'm not a vet, but this guy might be injured. No doubt he'd still eat me given half a chance. I should stay out of his way. Ugh. Leeches, dysentery, mud. Not very enticing. That's the man-eating tiger I'm supposed to be dealing with. It sounds like it's in pain. Cats. Bloody things have been following me around ever since Hong Kong. They just keep getting bigger. But seriously, what am I going to do once I've got his attention? Other than feed him my innards. I've seen a worryingly large number of plane wrecks in the last week. At least this one wasn't my fault. As far as I know. The tiger's still back there. I probably shouldn't do anything to attract his attention. That includes climbing trees. A thick vine. It's pretty thick. I can't just pull it down. A clump of wild mushrooms. I don't know anything about mushrooms, but that's no reason not to pick them. If they taste foul, I can just throw them away. Salad. All that's missing is a thick, juicy, medium rare ribeye and some chips. Oh, the salad.
A pleasant, spicy odour. Might actually taste good. Christ, when was the last time I ate? Before I make a stew out of them, I should probably ask an expert if they're even edible.
It looks pretty impenetrable. I'd need a guide to find my way through. I think I'll stay on the path for the time being. They should go up nicely. Only one villager stayed behind after the attack, and he's hiding in here. He can show me the way to the temple, where, according to legend, the second portal key of Shambala is stored. But, perfectly understandably, he's afraid of the man-eating tiger that's on the loose. I need to take the cat out of the equation.
Hello?
Yes? Any luck in hunting the tiger?
Yes, I saw the tiger. You're right. He's still lurking about.
Told you so.
I think I know why it came into the village last night as well. He looks injured. He's out in the swamp making sad noises. Would that explain why he's acting so aggressively?
Oh, quite possibly. But regardless, I am staying in my hut, and don't go getting any wild ideas yourself.
But I promised to help.
As you please. Is there anything else?
Is there any chance I can convince you to come out for just 10 minutes? The tiger's out in the swamps. I don't think he really poses a threat.
I forgot I was the tourist and you were the local. Believe me, it poses a threat.
All right, all right. I'm on it. I found these mushrooms in the jungle. Are they edible?
I would only eat them if you have sleeping problems. These mushrooms contain a natural sedative. We use them to treat minor injuries. But I have heard of a Brahmin who performs operations on injured animals and sedates them with the poison from these mushrooms during the operations.
Interesting. So you just chuck them down the creature's throat?
No, the sedative must get into the bloodstream. The mushrooms are cooked and the juice that escapes is then injected. It requires a bit of experience to get the dosage right. Too much of the stuff could knock out a huge water buffalo, never mind a small pet.
No problem. Caution is my middle name. I found these stones in the village square. I don't suppose they're, valuable by any chance?
No. These are flint stones. Keep them by all means.
Oh, well, thanks anyway. I'll see what I can do.
Good luck.
Two pieces of flint, used to spark fires. The old man said that you can extract a natural sedative from these mushrooms by boiling them. The reeds caught. The logs shouldn't be far behind. There's a good fire burning now. Ouch! If I've understood the old man correctly, these need to be boiled, not char-grilled. In you go. If the old guy is telling the truth, I can boil these mushrooms into some kind of natural sedative. That was quick. There's a dark sap oozing out. The poisonous mushrooms are boiling away in the pot, producing a dark purple sap, powerful enough to knock out a rhino. It's too hot to remove with my bare hands. Let's get this off the fire without burning my hands. There's a thick purple residue left over from the stewed mushrooms. It's supposed to be a natural sedative. The basket's already broken, so I might as well finish cutting it up. I've dismembered the entire thing. All that's left are these thin sticks of wood and the hemp stitching. A long cord. Thin wooden sticks. I can tie one of the pottery shards to one of the sticks. A sharp pottery shard on a thin wooden stick. Tranquilizer dart. Great idea. If, of course, this was anything like a professional dart. As it stands, I just can't imagine it flying straight. One step at a time, I guess. Great. I'll use a few fibers from the hemp cord to make fletching for the dart. A dart with all the trimmings, arrowhead, shaft and feathers. I'll dip the tip in the homemade tranquilizer. The tip of the dart's coated in the mushroom tranquilizer. I don't think I can throw it that far. Voila! A perfect tranquilizer. Loaded and ready to go. Wish I'd had one of these when Kim was around. This should put the tiger out of action for a while. I've not exactly got the best shot, though. I could hide behind this tree and lure him over. But if he doesn't cross the water, he'll be on the opposite side of the tree to me. And if he comes to the shore, he'll round the trunk and wind up about 3 feet from my nose. If the sedative doesn't work, I'll have about 500 pounds of furry death on my hands. I'll have to lead him somewhere else and set up a distraction so he doesn't, eat me or anything. I might give this a bit more thought. There's a small goat hidden underneath this hut. Damn, I can't get to him. He looks hungry. Goats eat green things, don't they? Okay, little guy. Fancy an adventure?
It's a goat. There's a goat in my pocket. Don't ask me how, or more pertinently, why.
I could leave him here, but he'll just run away and hide again.
I'll tie a piece of the cord around the goat's neck, so it doesn't run off before I'm done with it.
I'll tie him up here. I hope this works.
Meh. Don't worry, you're not bait. You're just a distraction.
Billy looks to be doing okay. He seems to have calmed down at any rate. Wait till he sees who's coming round the corner looking for lunch. Okay, preparations are in place. I'll lure the tiger into the village, then hide behind the tree in the square. While the tiger's busy with the goat, I should have just enough time to hit him with the dart. Let's hope the sedative works. For my sake, as well as the goat's. Do or die. The tiger's just sitting there. The question is, for how much longer? I need a plan. Only one shot at this. Concentrate.
Have you shot it?
No, I've just sedated it.
Sedated? And what happens when it wakes up?
Look, he's injured. There's a nail stuck in his front paw.
Ah, you are correct. He has obviously fallen into a trap.
You set up traps to piss these guys off.
No. Many farmers in this area protect their fields and plantations from all sorts of animals with spiked traps such as these. If a tiger gets injured by such a trap, it cannot hunt in its usual way.
And it gets angry.
It begins to look for easier prey.
Chickens, goats, people.
Exactly.
Okay, let's pull the nail out. Then we can take him out into the jungle and hopefully he'll wake up and wander back to his natural habitat.
This could work. I extend my thanks and the thanks of the entire village to you, stranger.
You know, thanks are great and all, but don't forget our deal. Let me take a look at this guy's foot. You find something we can use to move him.
Okay. I'll fetch a cart, and we can take it to the other side of the valley.
Okay, we're done.
Then I will lead you to the old temple, as promised. Follow me. This is it.
Here? But I don't see a temple.
Behind me in the lagoon.
What do you mean, in the lagoon?
According to records, there was a narrow valley here in which a temple stood until a few hundred years ago. One day, after a heavy storm, the valley was flooded along with the temple. Since this day, everything that remains of the temple is under the surface of the water. Only this statue, standing on the roof of the temple, bears witness to what lies beneath.
Do you think anything's still intact down there?
I cannot swim, how would I know?
Okay. Well, thanks for your help.
It was no problem, stranger. I had better make my way to the next village to tell the women that the tiger is no longer a danger. Would you care to accompany me?
Women, you say? No, I really ought to get back to saving the world. Thank you, though.
As you wish. Good luck.
I usually need it.
There's an old column here, reclaimed by the jungle. These plants are firmly attached. I can't just pull them away. My guide said this lagoon was formed a few centuries ago, when a storm tide flooded the valley here. This statue is all that's left to be seen of the temple. The rest disappeared underwater when the lagoon formed. Perhaps some of the temple's still intact. I've got to check it out. At least the water's nice and warm. You know, it all started innocently enough. Flies. Nothing dangerous about flies. Then there was the cat. Then the sheep. The tiger. Now sharks. Bloody sharks! I'd better steer clear of him. At least the temple looks intact. I'd better head back to the shore before he spots me. Okay. I have to get rid of that shark if I'm going to reach the temple. Let's get up there and take a look. The cockpit's ruined, but there's a glove compartment here that looks relatively intact. This wreck's old. The jungle's begun eating into it. There's a cardboard box in relatively good condition in the glove compartment, but everything else is foobar. The cover for the electrics. The cover is attached with 4 hexagonal nuts. I need something to unscrew them.
Let's see what's in this box. Looks like an old radio. An empty cardboard box. A radio with a hand-operated generator. You produce power by turning this little crank on the side. Oh, it fell off. The little crank fell out of the hexagonal shaft in the radio. If I need to use the old thing, I can always stick it back together.
Wow, blind luck. The radio crank fits right into the bolts on the cover. Ah, there's an electrics cable under here. Might come in handy.
A long power cable from the crashed plane.
It's pretty thick. I can't just pull it down. I'll fill it with water. This should moisten the bloodstain. The water's seeped into the dirt and the blood. I've soaked the cloth in the blood. There are certain things I like carrying around with me. Matches, booze, women. Old, muddy, blood-stained rags are not one of those things. I don't need to use it at the moment. Besides, my gut tells me this thing may not be up to modern electrical safety regulations. I'll connect one end of the cable to the contacts on the radio. I connected the power cable to the contacts on the radio. I'll knot the blood-stained rag onto the loose end of the cable. A bundle of dry reeds. The radio can be charged electrically, and that charge could then be conducted down the cable. Sharks, I'm sure, are sensitive beings at heart. Even a small shock should be enough for him to turn tail. Of course, he's right on the lagoon bed. I'll need him to be right on top of the cable for it to work. Hopefully the smell of blood will be enough to attract his attention. It's working. The shark's surfaced, and he's circling the bait. I need to hurry before he pulls the whole thing under. Okay, the radio's on the bank of the lagoon, and the cable with the bait is in the water. I can see the shark circling from here. I am this close to solving this puzzle. I'm not moving the radio now. Whap! 40 volts straight to the face. Fenton Paddock, top of the food chain. Time to get down there and check out this temple. It's a huge gate with a recess in the center. How am I supposed to get in? A jagged indentation. The recess isn't very big. I can reach all the way in. There seems to be some kind of mechanism back here. The temple looks more or less intact from the outside. Maybe it's in good condition inside as well. Who knows? I'm running out of air. I have my strengths, but breathing underwater isn't one of them. Just mud. Oh, and a little snail. Weed, mud, clay. Yes, it's a lake bed. There's a pole stuck in the mud here.
This metal rod has a sharp edge. Given how long it's been in the water, it's remarkably rust-free.
I won't be able to open the gate like this. It's too big. I'm running out of air. There, I've managed to cut away the plants with the sharp edge of the pole. There's a small carving here. It's carved into the stone. There's not much I can do with it. Might be I can make some kind of mould of this carving. At the moment, though, the cardboard's just too rigid. The cardboard softened in the water.
I softened the cardboard in water.
Not bad. The damp cardboard should mould itself to the carving and dry in that shape. Of course, then it'll stick there forever. I need to grease it up first. I severed the vine. It's dripping some kind of oily sap. There's oily plant sap dripping from where I severed it. Men can moisturize too, you know. I'll soak the reeds with some of the sap.
The reeds absorb the sap.
If it's good for my skin, it can't do any harm to an old rock. I'll oil it up. I've coated the carving with the plant oil. I've oiled up the carving. Not much else I can do. Perfect. This should make for a good mould. The damp cardboard will dry around the carving, and the plant oil should let me get it off again in one piece. The damp cardboard moulded itself around the carving. It should be dry pretty soon. The cardboard's dried in the heat. If I just remove it carefully, and yes, a beautiful cardboard mould.
The cardboard's dried out and moulded into shape.
I'll collect some mud. As soon as the cardboard touches the water, it will go soggy again. Don't ask how it's still dry.
Wet, muddy clay from a lagoon bed. I filled the cardboard mould with clay. I filled the cardboard mould with clay.
Let's hope it's hot enough to fire the clay. That should do it. The cardboard's burned away, and the clay looks pretty solid. The hardened clay's lying in the fire. It's lying in the embers. I need something to pull it out with. Got it.
It's an exact copy of the shape on the statue by the temple.
It fits. We're in business. How has no water reached this part of the temple? It smells old and dank, but at least I can breathe. It's so well preserved. The painting seems to portray a scene Professor Hayes told me about. It's a group of herdsmen or hunters entering a large cave in the mountains. These are the people who discovered the entrance to Shambala many thousands of years ago. There's a round stone jutting out of the wall here. I'll grab it. It's a magnificent city with some kind of glowing orb in the center. This must be Shambala, the light at the center. That must be the source of these morphogenetic fields. It's the world's soul. Here's another stone. The same characters as the monastery in Tibet. This is definitely the right place. These glass windows must be thick as hell to withstand the water pressure, but this place was supposed to have been built over 10,000 years ago. They should barely have had two sticks to rub together. Christ, all these stories and legends. They're all beginning to feel very real. There's a round stone here. It must have fallen out of the ceiling or the wall. The painting up there has a number of people reaching the shores of a sea or a river by boat. These must be the Shambala survivors, the ones who came here to hide the second key. That can't be. That looks like a British Army uniform. But this place was supposed to have been built millennia ago. The painting shows burning houses and many, many dead people. They're fighting one another on a huge mountain of corpses. But they don't look like warriors. They're just townsfolk, murdering one another. Is this the fall of Shambala? The inexplicable catastrophe that Professor Hayes mentioned, but he said it was a dragon, and Kim translated something similar back at the monastery. These people are killing each other. But why? And another stone. Another round stone. Here's another one of these stones. There's a plinth in the middle of the room. Okay, we've got 6 circular recesses arranged around a symbol. This must be where the artifact was stored all that time ago. I'd better take a closer look. A circular recess. It looks like something needs to be inserted. There's a small slab in the middle of the plinth with a symbol on it. I can't move it.
A round, patterned stone. It's stuck.
I heard something move inside. Is it unlocked? A stone. It's round and has a rune on it. I can't move it. Aha! The stones can be pushed down into the platform. That must be the artifact. The key to the gates of Shambala. Finally. The second key. I've travelled 3 continents just to find this thing. I should be happy. Or at least relieved. But there's something bothering me. Something at the back of my mind. I'm finally holding in my hands the key to Shambala. The key to rescuing Richard. And I've got this weird feeling about it all. Is that my conscience? Damn, I thought I lost the thing years ago. Maybe all this wasn't such a good idea. How many people have already died for this thing? And how many more will die if I open the gate to Shambala? Beyond all the myths and the legends, there has to be something real at the end of it all. There is something behind that gate that shouldn't be messed with. I don't know. Maybe it's this place, or maybe I'm just tired, but I can't help but think back to Hong Kong Harbour. I made a split-second decision to save Richard, and it was the wrong one. I won't make the same mistake again. I don't have the luxury of special circumstances as an excuse this time, and this time, there's a lot more at stake. Kim said you can't weigh one life against another. Last time, my mistake cost 8 lives. This time, it could be thousands. I've got to accept the reality. I can't go back to Tibet. I have to go back to where it all began. I have to justify the most difficult decision of my entire life.
Lord Weston,
Yes?
Mr. Paddock is back.
What? What are you waiting for? Send him in, quickly. Fenton, you have no idea how relieved I am to see you.
Lord Weston.
Do you have any news of my son? Is he alive?
I'm afraid it's not that simple, Governor.
Is Richard dead? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, he's still alive, I think.
Oh, thank God. Do you need more money? How can I help you? Just say the word, I'll do everything within my power.
Sir, I know where your son is. I even have the key to the gate that leads to his location. The problem is, I can't be answerable for opening that gate.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Richard is in a place in the Himalayas called Shambala. For some reason, he fled there when his unit was attacked by Nazi troops. Maybe it was the only way he could prevent the Nazis from entering Shambala. The point is, that place holds a secret so vital, it cannot be permitted to fall into the wrong hands at any cost. This is what I've come to realize. The second key could undo everything Richard has worked for. If I reopen the gate in order to follow him, I'd risk letting the Nazis into Shambala. Lord Weston, we have to destroy the second portal key. I'm sorry, but the dangers it represents are simply too great.
What are you saying? You suggest that we leave my son, your friend, to his fate?
Lord Weston, you know what Richard means to me. You know what I've sacrificed for him. Believe me, if there were any other way, I would take it. I know it's hard to accept, but after everything I've seen and experienced, I just can't continue with this mission. I'm here today to ask for your understanding.
I cannot believe I'm hearing this. You sentenced my son to death, and you come here asking for absolution. I was wrong about you, Paddock. If you are unable to handle the situation, I shall have to find someone who is.
As I said, I'm very sorry, Lord Weston. But I've made my decision. I'm going to destroy the key.
I'm afraid that decision is no longer in your hands.
What is this? You're collaborating with the Nazis, Governor!
I had no choice, Fenton. Mr. Kleist claimed to know where Richard was. He said he could return him to me. I was skeptical, but a father will cling to even the slightest shred of hope. I never gave up hope that you would solve the situation, and that I could quickly end my collaboration with the Nazis. But now I realize that I backed the wrong horse.
Governor, this is a mistake.
I'm prepared to take that risk.
Herr Paddock, I wonder if you would be so kind as to accompany me to the airport. You have an appointment in Tibet that you absolutely cannot miss.
We meet again, Mr. Paddock.
It's a dubious pleasure, Countess. But I guess you've become rather accustomed to having me around.
Had I been given the choice, you would be lying in your wretched Hong Kong shack with a hole between your eyes, believe me. I console myself knowing this will be the last time your good fortune keeps you alive. I hardly imagine you are aware of the fact, but you must at least have felt the transfer of energy when you held the second artifact in your hands, yes? Paddock, you have connected with the key. You are now the only person capable of using it.
You mean you can't get into Shambala without little old me?
Precisely.
And you think I'm going to help you?
But of course, there can be no doubt.
I hate to break it to you, love, but if I really am your last option, you're rather scraping the bottom of the barrel. Your expedition ends here.
Tut, tut, Mr. Paddock. You are always so hasty to judge before knowing all the facts. I am well aware of the lengths you would go to keep Shambala from us. You would merrily abandon your greatest friend for that very reason, but I wonder, would you so capriciously condemn to death your pretty little accomplice?
Kim?
You would merrily abandon your greatest friend for that very reason, but I wonder, Would you so capriciously condemn to death your pretty little accomplice? Oh, please don't look so dejected. At least you have one less life on your conscience. Well, if you cooperate, that is. Please don't make me describe to you what will happen to your girlfriend should you fail to comply. I think you have the imagination to make the right decision.
Kim, are you okay?
Just about.
Well?
Okay. Let her go and I'll do whatever you want.
I would dearly love to grant you this wish, but alas, it may be that your friend can make herself useful on the other side of the portal. No, she stays with us, but she gets to live a little longer.
Fine. What do you want me to do?
Place the second key in the recess on the pedestal. We will talk some more in Shambala.
Fenton! Fenton, wake up!
What?
Fenton!
What? Richard? Richard, is that you?
Of course it's me. Are you feeling okay?
Why do you look like a ghost?
Oh, charming. You came all this way just to tell me I've seen better days.
I don't understand. My head hurts.
Apparently your sense of humor is still en route. Well, what is there to say but... welcome to Shambala. It was good to see Wang's niece again, but I would have preferred it if you'd left the Nazis on the other side.
Kim! Where is she?
She landed in the central cabin along with the Countess. I managed to convince the Guardians of this place to separate you and bring you here instead.
Guardians? You mean there are still people here?
No, not in present-day Shambhala. Just you, Kim, and a few dozen Nazis.
So, what the hell are you talking about then? And what happened to you? Why are you all... flaky?
Ah, well, that's the story, isn't it? When I used the original key back in the monastery, it transported me to Shambhala. But the Shambhala of the past. It seems when the key was constructed thousands of years ago, the monks who stayed in the Kembalung Valley to guard it planned to use it to return here someday. I don't begin to understand how any of this works, but believe me when I say that this place holds extraordinary power.
So I've read. Something about morphogenetic fields.
Providing it a name implies an explanation for something inexplicable, but yes, if you like, morphogenetic fields. The High Priests described Shambhala as the heart of the world, but in truth, it's more like the soul. If you want to see it in a scientific light, I suppose you could say that the energy of this place is what constitutes the life force of every living creature throughout time. Just as every single person has a soul that makes him the person that he is, every species has a soul that makes the species what it is. And the sum of all that resides here. The world soul.
Would you be shocked if I said this was all a little over my head?
I've been here for days and I still don't understand it. I don't believe we'll ever understand this place completely. Just take it as fact. There is an energy here, an imperceptible energy that bonds us all.
How imperceptible exactly?
Well, we are all linked to one another subconsciously. But it's true that certain people are able to detect the fields with more precision than others. We call them mediums or oracles. But the energy fields explain a lot more than that. Think about natural instincts, or phenomena such as mass panic. They're all a result of the ebb and flow of those subconscious links.
Well, it all sounds very grand, but what does it actually mean on a practical level? Are we in danger?
Fenton, imagine the heart of Shambala as a gigantic archive. A pool of everything people have ever researched, discovered, or developed.
So, that's a yes then.
It is. The entire world converges right here.
And the Countess knows that.
But it's not just that. The center transcends time and space. He who controls it controls the sum of all human knowledge, past, present,
and future. They could conquer the world.
No, that's not the threat. The power of this place is too much for any person to control. Mankind doesn't have the maturity to handle this gift. Even the priests of primeval times failed.
So, this field of energy ended up making the residents of Shambala kill each other in a civil war.
Correct.
How?
Imagine understanding everything, instantly. The spirit of a person would be subjected to extraordinary strain. They simply couldn't cope. Besides, there are darker forces at work. This archive is not limited to discoveries and inventions. It represents the entirety of the human condition. Jealousy, envy, hate. These define the human species just as much as learning or understanding, and have a corresponding influence here in Shambala. But, as I said before, it is not something we can easily understand.
Okay, fine. So we just wait for the Countess to open the center. I'll dash in, grab Kim, then we sit back and watch while they all kill each other.
You're absolutely right.
But
in my time, Fenton, the surviving priests are preparing to leave Shambala for good. In order to protect the heart from misuse, they are performing a ceremony that will set up a force field around it. This field will allow only the bearer of a certain amulet to pass through. After the ceremony, the amulet will be divided into 3 pieces and hidden in the temples of 3 priest castes who once ruled here.
hey, even better. The Nazis won't get past square one.
No! They've begun to plant explosives. The field is maintained in your time by a series of plinths. It would take a great deal of power, but they may be able to destroy them. We have to stop them, Fenton. They may not be able to wield the power of Shambala, but if the energy of this place is disrupted in any way, it could have catastrophic effects for every living creature on the planet. We must act quickly.
We? I thought you were stuck in the past.
You're right. But you won't find the 3 amulet pieces without my help. If I understand it correctly, our times are now synchronized. We can communicate, but we cannot cross the boundary. In my time, the priests are only just now performing the ceremony to invoke the force field. So the amulet has not yet been hidden, and I have no way to know where it will be placed. But that doesn't mean to say I can't help you look for it.
And what am I supposed to do with the thing when I find it?
You will have to use the power of the Source to drive off the Nazis.
As in the source that sends anyone who goes anywhere near it doolally? That source? Is there a plan B?
Don't worry. Once you find the dragon amulet, I will help you control it.
Okay, let's do it.
I couldn't agree more. The future of the world is in our hands.